In this session, we are going to review how to run an entire invoice reversal. We're also going to show you how to do any back-end adjustments for the accounting and show you the end result after we rerun a new invoice that is corrected. So in this particular instance, I have a vehicle here under Sam Socket, my technician, for Miss Julie Jules. I'm going to open this up. So I have three packages on here. Number one, I have an air filter. This air filter itself is coming from inventory. So this is a part from inventory. We also have a labor, which is a half an hour. On the wiper blades, we have a labor of 0.1, and we have some wiper blades that we brought in from an outside vendor. So if I go open this up and we look, here's where I received in my wiper blades. Third, we have a sublet repair that we did. Here we had a tow. Open this up. You'll see on the invoice that we received in an invoice from the subletter. So let us go post this out. Say she paid with a credit card. And hit next and post. So now we have a finalized invoice. If we go down here to the invoices, you will see the invoice right here. So in a situation like this where you have to reverse it, you're going to have to do a little background adjustment. So let's take a look at what we had happen before we go start the reversal process. So if I go back to Home, Purchases, and look at my supplier invoices, if I go to the Chevy dealer here, here is my invoice where I received them. Now I won't have to do anything to this invoice. This invoice is perfectly fine. I can actually go ahead and post this to the payables at this point if I wish. On my sublet supplier, that's a bit of a different story. Since I have not posted this to the payable, I will need to come in here and make an adjustment on this cost because I am going to enter this supplier invoice again. And we're going to be doing this as we create the new invoice. Now the part that came from inventory is going to go straight back to inventory. Also, let's take a quick look at my technician. So I'm going to go to my dashboards. Here I have a dashboard set up. Let's look at today. So here's where Sam, my technician, was paid his labor time. So when doing a credit slip reversal like this, first thing you want to do is get the invoice number. So we go up to credit slip. We're going to go look for invoice 117. Hit enter on your keyboard, double click it, and reverse entire invoice. Now as this is doing this, remember it's going to be a reverse of an entire invoice, so we're not really going to adjust anything here. The only thing we need to do is make sure that Sam is assigned and we have a service advisor. So now everything is going to be reversed. Labors will be reversed. Air filter will go back to inventory. Labor again on wiper blades. Now these wiper blades, since we did bring them from an outside supplier, are going to go straight to the returns bin. The sublet repair sale will be reversed. So let's go ahead and post this out. And by the way, taxes, shop supplies, anything else will be reversed automatically. So we will post. I'm going to give her credit back on the credit card. Next. Not going to print, and post it out. So now we have reversed that entire invoice. So here is the original invoice. Down here will be a copy of the reversal. So the next step is taking care of the parts. Let's go over to our purchases. So if I go to my items to be returned, look for my Chevy dealer, here are those wiper blades. Now I am going to need to put them on the next invoice that I need to create, so I have to pull them from the returns and put them on that ticket. The way to do that is to simply click on it and move them to inventory. This is the only way you're going to be able to do this. So we're going to hit yes. It's going to look for a match. If it doesn't see a match, you just simply click add. Select where you want to enter it in the inventory. It will bring cost over. You hit save. You can even put a sell price if you wish at this point. I'll just put it on when I put it on the ticket. Now I click again and apply. So now I've moved them into inventory. On the supplier invoice for the subletter, that's a little bit different. We are going to recreate that invoice again. So as long as those supplier invoices are still sitting here and have not been posted to the payable, I can go in here and zero it out. Hit search, open it up, highlight the line, do a view, zero out the cost. So now I'm ready to go to restart that new invoice. And I can go ahead and save or post this over to the payable also. Now I'm not going to post this yet because we're going to take you to a second part to this a little bit later on the accounting. Okay, so we'll just save it. So let's go back to our work orders and create a new work order. So pull up Miss Jules again. Find the correct vehicle. See, originally I did it on this 2007. It was supposed to be on the 2012. I hit next. I'm going to go put an air filter job back on. The wiper blades. And my sublet. All right, let's see what the mileage is here. 98. I'll use that. Next. Again, same service advisor, same technician. So at this point, I'm going to refill this all back out. So my labor on my air filter. I need to go pull that air filter from inventory. It was a 22728. By the way, before we go any further, let's go do a quick edit here so you can see in the history what happened. See, here's where I sold it. Here's where it put it right back in when I reversed it, right off that credit. I'm going to hit draw. Put in my labor for my wipers. Now I need to go to inventory and pull the wiper blades. So the part number was WB24. Whoop, gotta look, get rid of that definition. Didn't have a definition in there. Highlight, draw. I'm going to put 2 units on. Now again, we want to match the selling price here. Let me save this real quick and go see what it was, just in case I forgot. And they were $20 each. So we open the line, set our selling price, and we will move this over to a fixed rate and put $20 each in here. There we go. And we're going to receive this sublet. So let's take a quick look at this just to make sure. And you see how easy it is. All I'm doing is flipping tabs. I have them both sitting here. I had a cost of 80 and a sell price of 105. Okay. So we had a tow. It cost 80. Supplier. Invoice number. So the question here becomes, do I use the same invoice number again? Since I was able to change the cost on the original invoice where I received it in underneath the purchases, I can do this. If I had already posted it, I can still do it. Now, what I would suggest in a situation like this is maybe add a little bit to the end of the invoice to make it a little bit different, because we're going to go into the accounting a little bit later and talk about how do we make adjustments on these. So I'm going to use the same number again, except this time I'm just going to make it a -1-2. That way we'll remember. Hit OK. Had that sold for 110. And hit OK. So everything adds up. Let's make sure. Oh, I was a little bit off. See, I was 105, not 110. Open that back up. 105. 248.98. 248.98. Now I'm ready to post this. Before we post this, let's do a save. And let's just take a quick peek at the labor hours. So I'm going to go over to my dashboard again. So you see here is where Sam was paid on invoice 117. Here's the invoice where I did the reversal. See, so now he's washed out. He's washed out. That includes the sublet, which we're going to adjust out. All right, so now we can post this. So we post, outgoing mileage. Do we want to print or make an appointment? Again, we're going to put it back on her credit card, add, and hit next. All right, so we posted out an invoice, correct customer, wrong vehicle, did a complete reversal, got our parts ready, recreated the new invoice, and added the parts back on, and the sublet. So let's go back to purchases again one more time and see what's happening here. So if I hit search again, see now I'd have that second invoice in here. Okay. So the first time I zeroed that, which is good because I only need to be billed one time for it. So I can go ahead and post this and then post the other invoice. Everything is perfectly fine. Here's where you run into a situation. What if I already had this invoice posted? So if I had this invoice posted into the payable already, now I have a second invoice. Okay. This invoice must have the correct cost on it because that is the final invoice that I billed it out on. This is important. Okay. So what can I do to fix it? Let's go into the accounting. We'll pull up my supplier. There's my invoice. So we can go look at it. So we had $80 plus we had $10 in tax. Now again, take into consideration this is Canadian. So how am I going to fix this? Once it's in the payable, I cannot alter this cost. So as long as this has not been reconciled, I can undo it. So what I do in this case is I undo this and I'm going to send it back to the purchases. Refresh there, go back to my purchases, search again. There it is. See, now I can go adjust the cost and zero it out. So typically the next question that's going to come up is, what if I already have this posted in the payable and I've paid for it already? So a lot of times with these subletters, you're going to pay for these right off the bat. So let's go make a payment and see what happens. So let's say we did pay for this already and we went and wrote a check for it. Put in a check number, hit save. So this is already paid. Now, once this is paid, I can still look at this invoice, and if I try to undo it, let's see what happens. It won't let me because the payment's already been made. So how am I going to fix this? I can go to my payment and delete it. Now I'm back to the original invoice. I've cleared the payment out. I'm going to refresh here. Go to my invoice. And let's undo it now. Now I can go correct that cost and then post it to the payable. One last thing. Let's go talk about this third option here. Okay. This is a last resort option when it comes to these. Typically you can undo this and fix it quite easily. So if I've already paid for this and I can't undo it for any reason, maybe I've already reconciled. Let's go pay it. So let's say this is done and for whatever reason I cannot delete the payment or undo this and send it back. What you would do is go ahead and post the next one. Go into the payable account. Make an adjustment. Make an adjustment. So I make an adjustment, match that date. The adjustment account will be sublet cost. It's your expense. Oops, sorry. Where is it? There we go. So I'm just, make a little note here, reversing invoice, whatever. The adjustment is a negative. Now again, in this case, it's going to add tax. I hit OK. And then I highlight and I apply it. That keeps your accounting straight, your payables are straight, and what you show for profit and loss is accurate. Last thing to look at, let's go look what Sam got. Go to my dashboard again. So now here's where Sam got the original. Here's where it was reversed, and here's where he got paid again. So now Sam's in good shape too. And that is reversing an entire invoice.